With the heat of summer rapidly approaching, I thought that now would be an excellent time to discuss a beverage that's really popular in this region, and that is kvass. For those of you who've never had it, you can think of it sort of like a bread soda. I know that that sounds really strange, and it is really strange. It's definitely an acquired taste. The first time that you try it, it might be a little bit off-putting, but it is actually super refreshing, and it's very interesting. So this is a drink that has its roots in sort of medieval Slavic period, so sort of the Kyivan Rus era, but it really became really widespread and popular during the Soviet Union. So the Soviets, with sort of a lack of access to sort of more popular beverages and Western drinks, so they leaned into things that were more available for them, and that would be kvass, kompot, uzvar, other drinks like that. So these were the drinks of the Soviet Union. And so what kvass is it's basically you take old rye bread and then you soak it with water, sugar, and yeast, and then it breaks itself down into a sort of a fermented bread beverage. But this is non-alcoholic. There is a lingering element of alcohol to this drink, but it's usually around 0.5%. Some of them have a little bit more, some have less. It depends on how active the fermentation was. So I have assembled sort of a wide range of kvasses for us to try. I'm very curious to see if there's sort of a discernible difference between the brands, because a lot of your enjoyment of kvass depends on the company you're with, how hot it is outside, and how cold these bad boys are. So I have made sure that these are ice cold. So I've put together what I think is sort of the foundational base of kvass. They get a lot stranger. I have some of them behind me here. We'll look at those sort of in the background. So there are some that are made from flowers, some that are made from fruits, some that are a bit stronger, some that are punchier, some from honey. But we're just sticking to sort of the base kvass sort of core here. So these are sort of the most popular brands, and these are the ones that are probably going to be the most common where you live in terms of what's exported. So now that we've put these together, we'll just jump right into it. So, as Mr. Sagan said, if you wish to make an apple pie from scratch, you must first invent the universe. So we are going to start at the very beginning. So these are sort of considered the most popular and the most basic forms of kvass. So this is Kvass Taras. It's super popular in the region. It's widely exported, so you're probably going to be able to find these in your sort of Eastern European deli or grocery store. But there are two base varieties. So there's sort of a white version, and then there's a black version. It depends on the type of bread that's been fermented with sugar, and it creates these sort of two baser versions. So we'll just crack these open. So this is the lighter version. There is sort of an unfiltered white version of kvass. There are many different varieties. Oh, wow. But this does seem to be a much higher quality kvass. One, because this head formation. So it's almost beer-like, it's really thick, and then the aroma sort of just fills the room as you pour. So starting with the Kvass Taras, we will start with the hribi. So this is just the bread. It's a little bit sweet. This drink lives somewhere in between bread and beer. It's not quite beer, it's not quite bread. A lot of people joke about when they drink beer that they're drinking liquid bread. This is literally liquid bread. These do smell quite different, and then you can see just a sort of slight variation. I thought that these would be a bit more different in terms of appearance. This is lighter, this is the darker one, but they're still quite dark. This has more sort of a rye bready smell to it, and this smells a little bit more like a sweeter beer. So I guess we'll jump into it. Cheers, guys. It's a little bit sweeter, but it's definitely got that cool, refreshing flavor to it. I really like the balance in this. Kvass Taras is famous for a reason. It's really well done. And then the dark. To me, the darker one has a much more robust flavor to it. I really like it more. It's thicker, it's punchier. So that's kind of why I lean into this. I haven't even bought this can in quite a while, so it's nice to try it. And also there's something to mention that people in Eastern Europe, for whatever reason, think that they're going to die if they drink something cold. So they have to write, "Enjoy cold" on the can. Because they drink everything warm here. And in winter, it's terrible because they only sell warm beverages, so they have to be told to drink something cold. Maybe it's because I'm American and everything that we serve is filled with ice and it's just default cold, but it is very cute that they have to be told to drink this cold. Both of these are delicious. I still lean towards the darker one, but I don't think that you can go wrong with either of these. So, excellent options. So this is Opilia. This is a very famous brewery in the area, but they also brew kvass as well. I think that it's very common for beer breweries to have sort of a kvass offshoot, but I think that it would be logical for bakeries to have sort of a kvass offshoot. But I guess they just don't have the machinery to sort of brew and ferment things that a brewery would already have. And this says homemade, domashnie, so this is homemade kvass. And then we have Bili Kvass. So this is probably from white bread. It's also worth noting that during the Soviet Union, kvass was sort of a publicly consumed drink. They would usually have large yellow tankers of it. And then you would go out to sort of a park, sort of the way that there would be beer gardens and things. But you would get a glass of kvass in a public setting from a giant yellow tanker and just sort of enjoy it with your friends or take one to go. So they would have it in parks, they would have it near metro stations and public transit hubs and things like that. So it was super common in the Soviet Union for people to have this in public. Okay, so here you can see that white versus dark differentiation. So this is the classic, so this is like the homemade, and then this is the white. Again, from two different types of bread. And you're left with two extremely different versions of kvass. Also, the heads on these are beautiful. Whoa. Very bready. It smells like a glass of blended croutons. So very interesting there. Nah, this just smells like wet old bread to me. These smell a little bit less like beer, way more like bread. Which I suppose they should. Maybe there's less of a fermentation element here. Maybe they use sort of a different strain of yeast. But the very different smells. That's got a little bit of like tang to it almost. Sort of like a sour. Maybe the bread that was used had sort of a sourdough starter element to it. When they make bread with what we call a starter, they call it zakvaska. So maybe it's connected to kvass, and I taste sort of that tangy, sour element to it. So it's less like straight yeast and bread and more like sort of a sourdough. Okay, so the white one is lacking a lot of depth. I think that one of the main requirements for kvass is to come from rye bread, so you really need those elements to it. This, I think, maybe came from white bread. It does just taste a little bit like blended bread, but I think that the appeal of this would be if you're sort of trying to stop drinking beer. Instead of getting non-alcoholic beer, just drink this. Like, white kvass tastes like a non-alcoholic beer more than a non-alcoholic beer. It's sort of like when a vegan tries to create a vegan hamburger instead of just creating their own dishes that have their own identity. So this exists as is, sort of as a historical drink. There's a 1,000-year history behind this. It was super popular in the Soviet Union. Why reinvent the wheel to try and make non-alcoholic beer? Just drink kvass. It's an excellent stand-in, especially this one. This tastes like non-alcoholic beer to me, but in a drinkable way. This is a Lithuanian version of kvass called gira. I might be saying this wrong, maybe it's like hira, gira, gira. Gira. This is from Lithuania, and this is from a brewery. So again, sort of like the Opilia, they have all of the machinations in place to make kvass, so they do that along with their brewing operation. I've had their beer, but I've never had their kvass, so I guess we will check it out together. Again, a nice thick head to it. It's really beautiful. This has a much, much, much fainter smell to it. And it's also a little bit lighter. That's really good. This is actually super, super good. There's a lot more complexity into this in the other ones. The other ones can sort of be a bit more one note. This has depth of flavor to it. So you taste sort of the sweetness, the yeast, the bread. It's got sort of caramel notes to it as well. It almost feels malty. So this actually is even a better non-alcoholic beer than the other one. So this is really good. It's really nice. I like this. Well done, Lithuania. In terms of glassware, this was an intentional choice. This is sort of a more Soviet-style glass. This is something that people would have had kvass from in that era. So it was also common for people to make kvass at home. This is one that sort of mimics that. So this is unfiltered, unpasteurized kvass that sort of mimics that homemade kvass style. But this is one of the more standardized, sort of non-pasteurized live kvass. So it literally says živý kvass, so it's unpasteurized, unfiltered. This has a very short shelf life. While the things in the cans can stay for a very long time, this is sold refrigerated, and it has to be consumed pretty quickly. Yeah, so it tells you maximum 21 days, so it can sort of only exist for a few days, and then it says the sweetness will decrease, the drink itself will become stronger in taste the older it is, and then the strength of the CO2 will increase as well. So let's give this live kvass a go. So this is the closest to sort of a real from the tap kvass that you can get from a store. It's not as punchy as the other ones. I would say that this is a little simpler even, but it does have those sour sort of notes to it. I prefer the ones that are a bit darker, so this is a little on the light side. There are some people here who adore this stuff, and especially in summer when you go to a barbecue, which is also sort of what people did during the Soviet Union. They would take kvass to barbecues. This style of kvass isn't really my favorite. I appreciate it, and I do like it from time to time, but I prefer the darker stuff. I think that the Lithuanian is probably in the lead so far. Okay, so in our second to last taste-off, we're going to have two popular grocery store chains in Ukraine face off against each other. So we have ATB, so this is like the budget line of stores in Ukraine. You may have seen the painting in the background of some of my videos. And then we have Silpo. So this is considered sort of the higher end grocery store in Ukraine. So these two will probably have wildly different approaches. This will probably be more basic, but very well done. This one will be a bit more artisanal. So I've not tried either of these, so I'm excited to get into them. God, just the sound. Oh, that sounded a little weak. Like, this kvass is also unpasteurized and unfiltered. Yeah, unlike the other unpasteurized, you can really see that this is unfiltered, unpasteurized. It's very cloudy. It's very murky looking even. Almost to the point where it feels like it's a fault. Whoa. Ooh. It smells very sour. Very bready. Yeah, so this is more like a standard prototypical kvass. It's dark, it's got a really rich, thick flavor to it, very rye. So I really like this actually. And this was, I think, one of the cheaper ones. So the fact that this tastes so good, for being so basic, is actually a compliment to the company. And then their main competitor, the Elite grocery store chain. Oh, it's very sour. Oh my god. Ugh. It absolutely coats the inside of your mouth with like this cloying, it's like I took a shot of oil or something. I don't like this. This is not good. Okay, so I should really learn to read. On the can, it says that it's made from buckwheat bread, yesterday's buckwheat bread. So that may be kind of why I don't like this. It does have a very weird flavor to it. I wouldn't identify it as buckwheat because it's very sour. It doesn't have that earthy, woody flavor to it. But yeah, I don't like that. I think that this is sort of over-tooled. I think that they tried too hard to make it too cool when you should just sort of stick to the basics. It's a 1,000-year-old drink. It was popular in your granddad's day. The Soviet Union managed to do it right, so there's no excuse for you to sort of do it like this. If the Soviets could figure it out, how complicated could it be? So, stick to basics. Even when I'm breathing in as I go to drink, that breath of air that comes in, it tastes like I'm standing in a bakery. So this is really cool. This one's really well done, especially considering the price point. This is one of the cheaper ones. This was fantastic. This is really well done. Good job, ATB. So, and for our last one, this is probably one of the oldest ones. It's sort of trying to ape that old pre-Soviet feel, but I think that this is very much a product of the Soviet period. It's absolutely massive. This is the very first kvass that I ever had. So I had this when I was in the States still, and a much younger man, when my sort of curiosity in the Soviet sphere was brand new. Oh, I smell like celery seeds or something from this. It's very weird. This is disappointing. The fact that it's poured so poorly really gives me pause. It smells like celery seeds. I don't get sweetness. I don't get yeast. I don't get bread. I don't get rye. Yeah, it's just a very dull smell. This tastes better than I was expecting. So you get notes of almost coffee, of malt. I feel like this was more synthetic. It's probably made at industrial scale. This is closer to a soda. So while some were closer to beer, some were closer to liquid bread, this is soda. So this might be the most approachable for sort of a Western palate who's afraid to sort of have a real liquid bread experience. So this might be a great place to start, but it definitely is lacking something. So this is globally available usually, but it's... I don't think I'll buy this again. I would say that the three winners for today, probably this Gira. Yeah, hey, so that's where the tickets come from. Probably the best overall. This was the best in terms of just basic flavor and expectations and cost. So for the money, I think that this is the best. And then from sort of a personal perspective, I think I like the darkest one the best. The darker, the better. So if you see any of these, you probably won't see this, but these two are probably exported somewhere more frequently, especially this Kvass Taras. I would say pick that up. That was just sort of a sneak peek into the world of kvass. Here you can see that I've gathered sort of a wide variety of really strange kvasses behind me. But I didn't want to make a 30-minute video on bread soda, so I just sort of stuck with the basics. If you guys are interested, please let me know, because I could do a follow-up, and they get a lot stranger. Or... alternatively, I picked up this bad boy at the market. And I can make my own kvass. If you guys would be interested, or if you'd like to see how I could do that, and then fail, and then possibly drink rancid liquid bread, please let me know, because I'd like to give this a go on my own. So just let me know in the comments if you'd like to see more, or if you've made kvass yourself. Alright guys, thanks again for joining me. I really appreciate having you guys watch my videos. Let me know if you've had any experience with kvass. What was your first time like? Because it's a really sort of an acquired taste, but a taste worth acquiring nonetheless. So if you'd like to see other kvass-based videos, or if you'd like to see me make it myself, please let me know in the comments. Otherwise, thank you guys very much, and until next time, cheers. Oh God, I'm so full.